Hi, my book fans. Welcome back. As you can see, things are looking a little bit different here today, huh? I want to introduce you guys to Peanut. This is my new VTuber going forward. Now, Peanut is actually modeled after my real life cat, and he is just as adorable as the one you see here and sassier than you can ever imagine. Mochi was a great VTuber, don't get me wrong. I will miss Mochi, but I wanted to bring an aspect of my real life into play here and share it with you guys, and I felt like this was my perfect opportunity to do it. So, welcome in Peanut, and he will be here going forward. Moving on to the book I want to cover today, I want to continue on with the testing series. Now, little disclaimer before I move forward, I'm going to cover book 2, Independent Study. If you've not read book 1, The Testing, or you want to read book 1, please stop here and go and watch that review if you're still on the fence or you just want to know my opinion on it before you listen to this one. It's impossible for me to review the second book, and unfortunately, I don't want to do spoilers, but it's impossible for me to give a review on it and not give some sort of spoiler. So please, if you don't want spoilers, you don't want to know what's going on, stop. Go read the first one, read the second one maybe, and then come back. At least, very least, please read the first book. So the second book picks up almost exactly where the first book leaves off. There's no real big gap in time or anything like that. And Sia survived the testing. But she still wasn't able to figure out how to stop from losing her memories. So unfortunately, she lost her memories. But as we know from the first book, she was smart enough to make that recording and that communicator device from her brother that basically she left as many details about the testing and her experience as she could. So she figures that out, hears about the testing, and while she doesn't have the memories of her own, she recognizes her own voice and realizes something really sinister has happened, and she's immediately on guard. That with that portion of it, basically they leave that as an undertone for the whole thing, that she really knows what's kind of going on behind closed doors and that something is really wrong. And they stick true, I guess, with the theme of the first book. Everything is a test. She goes through another test with a group of people before university even begins, and it's life or death. It's very serious. There was a part in that I actually thought she might die, and I'm really glad that she didn't in that case, but you'll know what I mean when you get to that point. And then there is even an aspect of playing games with the people. Playing games maybe isn't really the best way to describe it, but everything is a test. And even the interactions with people, she doesn't know who she can and can't trust. And now that her and Tomas are separated, she really doesn't have a clue. But the one piece that I liked is that they kept bringing in more and more information about the rebellion, that rebel faction, I guess, of people. And it's clear that their reach is farther than she really anticipated at the start. She figures out who's behind it. She figures out, where the rebel folks are stationed around. And she even gets a super cool internship in the government that really helps push it when she decides to become part of the rebellion on her own. Obviously, with everything that she's gone through, she decides that testing is terrible. It doesn't need to be a thing. We've grown beyond the testing. The testing isn't doing what it's wasn't originally meant for, I guess. So she wants to put an end to it, and she joins the rebel faction. And the book basically follows that as she makes choices while attending university and, quite frankly, just trying to stay alive. So, what did I like about it? The pacing was great. I liked that a lot. I also thought that this book did a good job of not falling prey to transition books. You guys know what I mean. You have, let's say, a 3 series book, right? Book 2 is clearly just a stepping stone meant to get you to the action in book 3, and nothing ever happens in book 2, and it sucks. Now, this book didn't really do that at all. I actually enjoyed the second book way more than the first book. I thought the action was maybe not as jam-packed as book 1, but it was more calculating. She had to not just, think life or death survival skills, but it was more about reading people and figuring out things behind the scenes and being careful of who she could trust and making big choices. It wasn't just, I need to survive today. Today is my only thought, and going forward, I can't think about tomorrow because I might not live through today. That was not the theme in this book, and I liked that she was planning ahead and thinking of the bigger picture. I also liked the university aspect of it. It was nice to see interactions with her with other characters who were already in university, those who had survived, and it also deepened, I guess, her connections with the bad people of the book. The doctors, the professors, she realized just how corrupt, I guess, everything runs. And the author did a really good job of keeping that theme throughout the book too, seeing just how deep the corruption goes and how far reaching it is even beyond the university. The things I didn't like about this book, I didn't really care for how slow moving the government pieces were. Now, that's kind of vague, and I'm trying not to give anything away here, but I told you she got an internship in the government, and I was really unimpressed with the urgency that the people in the government felt about literally anything. You would think that they would take some things more seriously, and I felt that everybody was just, you know, there for like a vacation, it felt like to me. They weren't interested in, pushing things along. And even the president, I felt like she was scheming the entire time. I guess, spoiler, Sia works for the president in her government, internship thing. And I wanted to like the president's character. I really did, but I couldn't trust her. And I didn't like that. I wanted the leadership. I wanted somebody to care, and I needed somebody besides Sia to see how wrong things were. And I didn't really feel like the president was really that person. I felt like she had ulterior motives. And I also, while I liked the theme of the rebel group, that was good. I liked that there was more about them. I didn't think that there was enough about them. They were too vague. You didn't really get to, see much about their leadership, how they became about, how did they start. I needed more of a background for the rebel group to really be invested in them, and it really didn't come to fruition. I think that the author really missed the mark there, because she really could have brought the book to life with, telling you why there's going to be a rebellion in the first place. Sure, the testing's bad and we're not for the testing, but where's the backstory there? I felt like it really missed the mark. Overall, though, my rating on this book, I would give this one 3 hearts, actually. I only gave the first book 2, and I give this one 3, just because even though I said it's missing, backstory on the rebellion, it did a pretty good job of filling in some of the blanks for some of the unanswered questions from book 1. Don't get me wrong, there's still unanswered questions, but we still have another book, and I'm okay with the fact that it ended on a cliffhanger, because when this book was over, it was actually really satisfying the way that it ended. I thought, oh, okay, wow, now I really do need to read book 3, because I want to see how she responds to this and what comes next. And that's the marking of a pretty good book. I thought that she was, also maybe less whiny than she was in the first book. She just had come to kind of accept that she needs to really be careful, watch her step, and not be so trusting of everybody. And I liked to see the character evolvement of Sia. Sia went from this, bright-eyed, really excited to go into the testing candidate, to realizing that things are really dark and dangerous and that she needs to tread carefully. And the evolution of her character has been spot on up to this point, and book 2 really did a lot to develop her character. That's the main reason why I will give it a 3 on this, is just because the character development for her was top notch. With that, do you guys actually want to read this series? Let me know. We've now done reviews on the first 2 books, and the last one, Graduation Day, I will do a review on that one too. But I'm interested to find out if you guys have actually read it. Do you want to read it? Are you guys even into, dystopian kind of books? I know I was kind of harsh on the first book and I meant what I said, but I really do think that if you really like dystopian post-apocalyptic, it's probably worth the read once. And the second book did a pretty decent job of redeeming the series. So let me know what you think. I always want to know what you guys think. I'm interested. I want to have an open dialogue about books, because that's the best part, is if you can have, discussions. Maybe you guys will think of something I didn't think of. Let me know. Until next time, have a great weekend.